What's going on, people? Welcome to the match preview as we look ahead to the game against Southampton on the weekend. 2 games in a row, 2 W's, and let's see what happens in the first game. We'll be talking about that and more. As always, if you do enjoy the content, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to not miss out on future Palace content. I'm joined by Stan and AJ here. How we doing, gents? Stan, it's been a while. Where you been?
It's been a while, mate. It's been a while. Yeah, just been quite busy with work, and then I went on holiday. So yeah, but I'm back now. I'm here for the running, like Roy.
Running. Next 8 games, critical games. Stan has stepped in. But look, talking about the running, it's our third game against Southampton this season, and they're gonna have a different manager on all occasions now. It's gonna be 3 different managers we face them with, but it's a different and optimistic Palace side going into this game. I sense that we're more hungry than relaxed. I know some people may think, we won 2 games in a row. The objective is to stay up. Maybe they're a bit more relaxed. But from what I saw last game, I think they're hungry, these players, to push on. But the question is, I'll start off with you, Stan. Can we carry this momentum going into this game?
I don't see why not. We've done it. I mean, we weren't great in the first half against Leeds, but we've done it past 2 games against Leicester and Leeds. I will say one thing. It's a big game for us. It's an important game for us. It's important that we get something, but it is a massive game for them. Massive game for them. Because if they don't get something, ouch.
It's wraps. Yeah, it's pretty much done. AJ, of course, you didn't go on holiday. We're still living the same life. We was on a live match reaction the other day. South London is wet, raining, cold, so there ain't much excitement there. Unless we want to talk about your work, I doubt you do. Let's talk about the confidence side of things. As Stan said, look, it's going to be difficult this game because they're going to be up for it. But then again, on paper, we're facing a side that's 20th in the league. But I want to quickly talk about expectations because confidence right now is extremely high, even in the opposition preview that I just posted. Make sure to check that out after this, where I speak to Dan from the Saints View. People were talking about 3-1 in the comment section in the opposition preview. Like, that's how confident we are going into this game. But do you think expectations are too high? Are we reaching that point? Because remember, before this, we were struggling massively. Or is it fair due to the quality that we've got in the team?
It's a good question. In all fairness, I think based on the opposition in comparison to the last 2 fixtures and 2 games we've had, I think from the position that Southampton and we're in, there is an expectation that we should be able to really pile some serious pressure on them. However, you have to worry about complacency. That is a thing. And it's the Premier League. So any team at any given time can sort of show up and perform. We do know that Southampton have a few individuals in there that can kind of cause us problems. But based on the way we've been playing recently and the confidence of our creative players, and I'll even go on the record to say our defensive players, we should be able to continue our momentum and generate some sort of points. I would realistically, back on my mind, expect to, based on what I've seen recently, to really give Southampton a lot to worry about. Do I think we're going to blitz them? Very unlikely. However, like I said in the preview to the Leeds game, I want the points now. I want the points as soon as possible. I want us to be essentially on the beach come the last 1 or 2 games, maybe even 3 or 4 games come the end of the season. I want to be able to go to Sellers come the end of the season and go there with a grin on my face, knowing that, there are no repercussions. And even from the battle of the bottom for us, the better we get these points on the board and solidify our place in the Premier League, the better. And what better chance to do against a team like Southampton, where I would debate we should be able to give them quite a spanking if we turn up.
That's a you better not jinx us now. You better not jinx us about spanking.
Clip it.
I'll be happy with the 3 points. I'll be happy with the 3 points. Just last minute winner. I don't even care. Another last minute winner. I'll take it. But Stan, you did mention it before we started the show. You did say that going to Southampton, it hasn't been as straightforward. So based on the momentum and the expectations that we're talking about, do you still expect it to be a difficult game? Because part of me is thinking they are 20th in the league. And they're 20th for a reason. They've been struggling to score goals, and we've got a solid defense. And even despite that, even if they do score a goal, we've seen lately that we can actually have a comeback in us. And in 2 games since Royals come in, we've been 1-0 down and then ended up winning 5-1 or 2-1. But for you, does that play in the back of your mind? Because you did mention it about Southampton against us, especially at their ground.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be an easy game. We've gone there before with them bottom of the league, and they've given us hell of a game. We've been lucky to come out of there with a point. So I wouldn't. Yeah, I don't think it's a foregone conclusion. I do think that if we turn up and play our best football, we should beat them, definitely. But like I said, I remember that time. I think who was it? It was 2-2, I think, in the end, or 1-1. I can't remember. But Gineppo ripped Joel Ward to shreds. I don't know if he still plays for them or not. To be honest with you, they have got a couple of good. Yeah. They have got a couple of good players. James Ward-Prowse has always had Palace's number. He always turns up, puts a performance in. So it's not going to be easy. They're bottom of the league. They're playing for their lives, mate. So yeah, it's going to be. Yeah. It's going to be. They've got a game in their hands.
Yeah, look, for me, I think it's key. I think it's key in this game that we start off fast. In the last 2 games, we went 1 goal down and we bounced back. I understand that that's a positive in itself because it shows that, these players have got the characteristics to not only just bounce back, but destroy teams after being a goal down in one half of football. And that goes down to the quality. But in this game, I want to see us being in front for a bit more, not start as slow. And in the Leicester game, we didn't start slow, but in the Leeds game, we did start slow away from home. And I don't want to give Southampton any confidence in this game. And, I want us to have a bit of a fast start to the game. But I feel like, we should be looking to win this game. They're there for a reason. They're at the bottom for a reason. And we're just coming off a 5-1 win. So, of course, there's going to be a bit of expectations. And as I mentioned about the momentum, it's both, Yes, we can have high expectations, but we've also got a bit of a momentum to carry the expectations on our shoulders. So it's all down to the players because they are struggling. They're struggling for a reason. I'm not saying it's going to be another, 5-1 win, but we can definitely beat them whether it's 1-0, 2-0. Well, we'll talk about score prediction later on down the show. But you mentioned the player there, Stan, in terms of Joel Ward struggling against Gineppo. This might sound a bit crazy, but I think it's still a fair point to make or fair topic to discuss. Do you change a winning side? A side that just beat Leeds 5-1 away from home. And the reason why I'm saying that, I'll start off with Joel Ward, but also Sam Johnstone, we're going to talk about him as well. Look, Joel Ward, in the previous 2 games, yes, we won the games, but the first half, he struggled massively. Even in the Leicester game, at times, they did get through behind his side. So, if he was to make changes, do you think it will be fair from Roy, or do you expect him to make any changes?
Knowing Roy, no. Let's be real. Like, if a team wins, you don't change it.
5 goals.
Yeah. Obviously, they've gone and scored 5 goals. I don't know. I don't think Wilf's back. So
for Joel Ward, let's talk about Joel Ward. Mm-hmm. I don't want to pick up players. I don't want to move on to negatives, but I think if you're trying to be balanced, if you're trying to look at the whole thing, he did struggle. He did struggle especially in the Leeds game. In the second half, we had Leeds on lock, especially with attack. They lost all momentum. But in the first half, he did struggle. Even against Leicester, at times they did get him behind his side. Luckily, the defense recovered. So it's been 2 games that in the back of my mind, I didn't really want to talk about it because we've come off 2 wins. But it's still been our weakest link, if you'd like to say, in our side so far. So in this game, would you like to see that change, or are you happy with how he's been playing?
I'd always like to see Klein over Ward. Always.
Wow, you think it's that different? I
think Klein is a far superior footballer to Joe Ward. I don't hate Joe Ward. I love him. He's done amazing things for this club. Nathaniel Klein has played 16 times for England. He's played for Liverpool. He played for Southampton when they were unreal. He was the first choice right back. If it wasn't for injuries, he would have probably played a few more times for England. He's an unbelievably better footballer than Joe Ward.
Yeah, AJ, let's unless you want to talk about Joe Ward, I was going to move on to the goalkeeper, but do you think that Joe Ward should be starting?
I think Stan pretty much summed up everything I was thinking there, to be fair. He's pretty much on the money. For what Joe Wood's done for the club, I'm very, very happy, but I almost look at it the same concept of Roy Hodgson towards the end. You will become the hero long enough to make yourself become the villain. You're becoming a liability in the squad and you're looking a little bit more slower and clumsier as time goes on. Father Time catches up to everybody. At the end of the day, Joe Ward was a very, very solid right back for us for years. And then in terms of if you've got heavy injuries or you need to do the odd support thing, I can't have it. Klein is the superior option for me. Same, I agree 100% with everything Stan said there. Goalkeeper wise, I am gonna stick with what we kind of spoke about in previous videos, where if you're on form, stay in the squad. If Sam Johnstone essentially kept us in that game against Leeds, if he doesn't make all those first half saves, we could have been 3-4-0 down at Ellen Road come last weekend. So for me, Sam Johnstone, he's earned his place. No, sorry, let me be more specific. He's finally got his chance. He stepped up and had a very, very good performance. I cannot fault it any kind of way. Even the goal that went in, I can't really fault him in that either. Stick with what's on form. I love Vicente Guaita more than anything, and I think he's a better keeper than a lot of people give him credit for. But at the end of the day, you can't argue with form, and you can't argue with what works. So for me, I would probably keep Sam Johnstone in goal. Maybe until he has a howler, maybe until form drips a little bit. Plus, I cannot keep the Southampton memories of Vicente Guaita's last performance against them out my head. In the cup.
Yeah,
in the cup.
I mean, we lost.
So that's sitting there. It's sitting there in my brain. So for me, Sam Johnson's on form. Keep him in the goal. No problem.
Yeah. Stan, I think this is a interesting moment for Sam Johnstone, because as Vicente is getting older and you're seeing more injuries getting picked up, I feel like we need to see him have a run in the side before we make a decision whether we need a new goalkeeper or not. And I feel like this is the perfect moment. You got 8 games remaining to the end of the season. Sam Johnstone is more than capable to be a first-choice goalkeeper. So as AJ said, I would like him to stay in goal till, he has a howler. Because I want to see how good he can be for us, or if he can be any good for us. Of course, one game, it was very good against Leeds, but we need to see more than one game to make a decision to see whether, he can step up to the plate to be a first-choice goalkeeper for us.
I agree, and I think you've got to look at his pedigree as well. I mean, he's not just some reserve goalie that's looking for his chance. I mean, the guy's played for England. He came through Man United's academy. He played Championship with West Brom, played in the Premier League with West Brom. In fact, last time he played against West Brom, he was the goalie for them. There's pedigree with him. I think he's a good goalie. He's at that age, and I think he was brought in to potentially succeed Guaita, in the end, right? So now's his chance. Put him in. I'm pretty confident. He was brilliant Sunday against Leeds, and all good.
Yeah, I agree as well. I think Sam Johnstone should be the number one. But let us know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Would you like to see Johnstone start? I would, till the end of the season at least, because I want to see, who's going to step up to the plate when Vicente leaves. Do we need another goalkeeper? With Johnstone, the main problem has been that he's been getting injured left, right, centers. Like, that's the main frustrating thing. For a goalkeeper that's barely playing, he's had a few injuries already. And we haven't been able to see him as much. But, he played well against Leeds. Keep him there as it is. Let's look at the league table. It's nice looking at the league table after a win. Not that much has changed because we're still 12. But look, we remain 12th after Leeds win. If we win this game, we'll be 12th. If we draw, worst case scenario, we'll drop down to 13th. But goal difference is on our side, so that's very unlikely. And also, with a loss, we can drop down to 15th. So the question is, would a draw be enough? And the reason I'm asking this is because I want to see you guys' expectations for the rest of the season. Look, a draw will most likely keep us 12th. So if you're thinking about, staying above the relegation zone, I guess you'll be happy with a draw. But then again, if you're looking at picking up the most points, you probably want to win to close the gap on Chelsea and the likes of Fulham. So I'll start off with you, AJ. Would a draw be enough?
Not for me. Not for me. I want to chase Chelsea. I do. I told them to come outside in the last video, so I want to chase Chelsea, man. I want to push, man. If Hodgson's here and he's going out and all guns blazing and he's going for that last hurrah, why not? Possibilities are endless, man. And it's been such a positive vibe for the past 2 games. I really want us. I want us to see how strong we can finish. Let's just keep pushing, keep going for the wins. More importantly, getting that sort of magic 40-point mark that obviously cannot be avoided, and the threat of the relegation cannot be ignored either. Like I've said 110 times, I want to have that safety cushion as early as possible, so we got house money essentially. So let's give it a go, man. Let's chase Fulham. Let's chase Chelsea, man. Let's see how far we can get. Hell, nah, actually, I'm not gonna say it. But let's just push up as far as the table we can, man. Let's keep going.
Yeah, let me ask you this, then. If we do win this game, is it a case of now looking up the table rather than down? We'll be on 36 points, potentially only 3 points off Chelsea or Fulham, depending on how their games go. Is it a case of, win this game against Southampton and, relegation is kind of in back on minds and it's about finishing as high as possible? Because remember, we've got still so-called winnable games coming up to the end of the season and there's still lots of points to pick up.
I think if we go 9 points ahead of whoever's in 18th, it's going to be very difficult for them to catch us. But I think we're asking a lot of a Palace team that has hardly been able to string, let's be honest, like the most time I haven't been able to string 2 passes together. I know things have changed. Like there's a bit of a buzz back. We're asking them to win 3 games in a row. I think we're asking a lot. I just don't think it's going to happen. I think a draw for me would be a good result. Given that I would expect Southampton to come out battling, given the situation that they're in. But you know what? I will say this. I listened to this on another podcast, actually. Leeds, when we played them, they came out at 1,000,000 miles a minute. And, I mean, they must have been knackered at half-time because they played at a ferocious pace. Second half, we just picked them off. One little 1-2s, play a yard further up the pitch, etc. Just picked them off. So that might be the case here. But I won't be... Listen, obviously I want to win, but I won't be too disappointed with a draw.
Yeah. Look, for me, it's a case of my expectations are all over the place. Part of me is saying I'll be happy with a draw. Part of me is saying I want us to win to push up the table. So for me, as long as we don't lose, I'll make up my decision like that. As long as we don't lose, so I guess a draw would be fine with me. But ideally, I want us to go and get the win. And the reason why I'm saying that is because when you're looking at, talking up the table, should we look up the table rather than down? If we do win this game, I'm looking up the table. I think that's it. I think we should be able to stay up because we've still got loads of games coming up, 36 points, and we should be comfortable there. But then, of course, if we don't lose and if we do get a draw, then that means another game's gone by and we face, another side that's below us and they couldn't get points on us. And, the points difference is still similar and we should still remain 12. So I'll be happy and I'll be okay with a draw. But ideally, I want us to go for the win because we're talking about Southampton, but they are struggling side. Let's not act like that. They are struggling side. And so are Leeds as well. And it's all about us. If we give them confidence, then of course they're going to be dangerous. But if we start strong and if we start fast, then in the back of their minds, they're thinking about relegation. You can get them all the crowd nervous as well. So that's the key. It's about starting strong in this game. And that's why for me, ideally, I want us to go and get the win. But a draw wouldn't be the end of the world. But then if we do get a draw, I'm probably not looking up the table. I'm probably just being content with just staying up rather than pushing upwards. Mm-hmm. That's how I see it anyways. But look, Southampton, we spoke about them a bit. But in the last 5 games, they lost against Man City, West Ham, drew against Spurs, lost against Brentford, drew against Man United. They're winless. They are winless in their last 5 games. And I watched them against West Ham.
You're playing Palace Saturday.
Yes, exactly. You're playing
Cherry
Palace
FC.
And
Cherry FC.
Exactly. And you know how it goes. You know how it goes with us.
Yeah.
But no, man, jokes aside, I feel like it's not going to be, surely not. It's not going to be typical Palace, man. People are kind of expecting us to come down to earth after the Leeds game, and I understand the reason why, but I feel like the players are excited, man. I just get that vibe. I get the vibe that the players are excited and looking forward to this game rather than, we beat Leeds and let's chill out. That's why maybe Charity FC might come back, but I doubt it. But look, they look terrible. They look terrible against West Ham. But against tougher opponents, they're well. But for me, Southampton, the biggest threat is Ward-Prowse in terms of free kicks. We just have to be sensible to not give away silly free kicks in, especially around, the 25-yard, 20-yard, area. You can't do that. It will just be extremely silly. But for you guys, Southampton, do you think they'll stay up?
Nah.
No one believes it. Even their fans don't believe it. I spoke to Dan and he said as well. And that's it. But their midfield is a strong point. I mean, Lavia.
They got a couple players though. Bella Kopchak, Adozie. Yeah. Who's the other man? Yeah, there's a winger for them. He's not too bad.
They got
but those were the thing with those players. Yeah. The thing with those players is they were all good before they were in Southampton. Remember when we were linked with Bella Kopchak? Yeah. The only player the only 2 players that I would say hand on heart that I think are guaranteed moves come, let's say, the summer, and hypothetically they did get relegated, is Latvia and Ward-Prowse. The rest of that squad could drop into the championship very easily. I think they dominate the championship, but on paper,
huge. I'm just looking now. Their squad is.
But how many of those are household football names?
Yeah, but then Latvia and
like,
Ward-Prowse,
if we're being honest.
Yeah, okay, but Latvia and Ward-Prowse in midfield is going to be an interesting challenge for us against Decore, Eze, and Jeffrey Schlupp, because I assume that's going to be the midfield three. And that's what I'm saying.
I feel Latvia
where it's going to be tighter. And if they win the midfield battle, then you're talking about, winning a battle against Decore, Eze. That's, two important players. So the midfield is the one area I'm looking at. Southampton, they've got talent there. I mean, we can't just sleep on that. In attack, they've got some names, but they haven't really been performing as well. But yeah, that midfield is the one area that I'm looking at. But in terms of Palace, who are you looking to perform? For me, Eze, last 2 games, absolutely brilliant. But I want to see Olise on the ball in this game because, against Leeds, he's destroyed it. And he destroyed them. But when he's just feeling comfortable and when he gets on the ball thinking that, he can take on anyone, he's unstoppable. But that's the thing. Like, at times, he doesn't get into the positions to get the ball and attack defenders like he did against Leeds. But I want to see him and also Edouard. I feel like he's been the biggest question mark this season. Is it confidence? Is it form? But he scored a goal, so hopefully his confidence should be up, and I'm looking forward to him in this game. But for you guys, in the Palace side of things, any other players that you're looking out for ahead of this game, whether they need to step up or whether you want them to continue their form?
Olise, do it again. Don't be one amazing game, one bang average. Do it again, mate. Prove me wrong and do it again. Please, I beg you.
Against a struggling side, exactly. Prove Stan wrong. Don't prove us wrong. Just prove Stan wrong. Do it for Stan.
My Olise agenda continues, to be fair. So yes, Olise, please prove Stan wrong. Olise agenda is real, mate.
You're saying he's going to be,
mate. He's going to be. He's the future, mate. He's the guy. Stan, trust me. I know you. I ain't seen you for a minute, but he's the guy.
He's unbelievable.
He's the future, mate. He's the one. He's the chosen one.
Every single week. He needs to rip teams apart every single week.
So
who plays left back for Southampton?
I'll find out for you. But why? So why doesn't he do it every single week? Well, is it a case of the tactics or is it a case of him? Because I don't know. But in the second half, in the first half against Leeds, he wasn't really getting on the ball as much, and when he was losing. Like not just him. Our attack was just absolutely.
I have a theory about that. I have a slight theory about that. I feel like he does get muscled out of games a lot. I feel that. If you noticed against Leeds and actually against Leicester, with Leicester, it was more or less the first half where he was getting taken out a lot and he kind of just was isolated out of the game completely. Where with the Leeds game, it kind of happened more towards... Actually, no, it kind of happened more towards the second half, actually, because at that point, it was too late and they realised he was a problem and they had to sort of double up on him. The problem is now, and the lucky, convenient problem we have now is there are other creative outlets around the pitch now. So, and obviously when Wilf comes back into the side, there's going to be all hell to pay because you can't just isolate one player. You've got 2 wingers to worry about, and then you've got that explosive creative midfielder. And if Edouard can continue his momentum as well, that's problems all over the pitch. But I felt that with Olise, from the day he's walked into that team, it has been an issue with him being muscled out of games. Because he's not the biggest guy in the world. Like, he's, bless him, he's essentially tiny comparison to your average man. But I feel like it takes him time to build into games and for him to kind of become a problem. He's not a constant menace in every single game. And that's because sometimes he gets muscled out.
I don't think it's down to strength. I'll be honest, I don't think it's down to strength. I think it's a case of, it might sound silly to some people who might not understand where I'm coming from, but I think it's down to the right back. And the reason why I'm saying that is because with a right back, you have overlapping runs, you have a genuine threat. If you have a genuine threat down the right-hand side that's overlapping you or even underlapping you, then teams have to focus on the right back. Well, right now, let's be honest. I don't want to slate him, but Joe Ward's running down the line. You think teams are going to be like, oh, let's leave Olise. Where's Joe Ward? Do you get it? So it's easier for teams to mark him out of games because, he's stuck in the right-hand side and there isn't an attacking threat. There isn't a support for him down that side. Against Leeds, where he flourished was on the counter-attack. He was good on the counter because there's spacing behind for him to attack. But when teams are sitting back and when he doesn't have that support, then it's easier. I don't think it's down to it, I think it's down to the support.
I have a caveat to that. The only reason why I say that is he does do his defensive work nowadays a lot more as well. Olise is getting a lot more confident in doing that defensive work. So sometimes he might have to come back and he's really getting you said it. He will come back and be a lot more aggressive in terms of doing his defensive work, to be fair. I've definitely seen a lot more of that. I think it was his debut last season where it was a home game and I was just sort of staring at him. And I remember the guy sitting next to me and we were sort of saying, like, he's not really commanding the ball. He's kind of quiet. He's not really that stuff's all gone now. Yeah. And that's part of his game. He will naturally develop, and that comes with Premier League experience. Once he comes back against more left wingers / left backs in the Premier League as time goes on, I feel that he will naturally just progress and get better and easier, and that will become easier to him. And maybe even a bit of development in terms of maybe switching wingers as well. I'd like to see a little bit more of that.
So I would say one thing about him as well is that his end product is already far superior to where Wilf was at his age. His end product is unbelievable when you think about it. He can put a ball in, he can finish. He's a serious player. I think we've got one more season with him and then he's going to get sold. That's how good I think he is. But I just wish he did it every single week because I know that he can do it. And that's what frustrates me with him. And I say, like, I lose my patience with him sometimes because I just know how good he potentially is and what he can do,
I'm telling you now, I'm going to keep saying it until it happens. When we get new right back, Olise is going to be unreal. I truly believe that. He's going to be unreal when he has that support down the right-hand side because it's going to be chaos, especially if it's a modern right back which can attack and defend, which I think we will go for at this stage. I mean, it would be crazy not to go for right back who can do a bit of attacking and defending. And when we do that, when he gets us support, I think he'll be more consistent. I think that's been his biggest downfall. I don't think we've seen the best of Olise yet, and what we've seen glimpses. But I think for him to be more consistent, he needs to have more support around him. And sometimes you can make the question that it can be from midfield. Maybe Eze can link up with him a bit more. But for me, I feel like, yes, he can get support from midfield, but with the right back situation, I think it'll help him out massively as well. But let us know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Why do you think at times Olise hasn't been as consistent as before, or do you think he's been all right so far this season? But for me, I rate him highly, and I think he's only going to go and be better. And it's another gem, £8 million. That's easily right now, at least we have to do at least £40 million. That's
60 million.
That's big man. Nice. No, I want some record-breaking sums.
Yeah, like that's me being very nice. That's what I'm saying. Like 8 million.
60, 65.
D, you talk about me having howlers. Olise for £40 million. Come on, bro.
Did I say £40 million or did I say minimum 40 million? Like, that's what I'm
saying. If we get relegated, mate.
The secret to bargaining and negotiating is you start at a higher number, bro.
Yeah. Okay,
you start at the highest number possible.
I'm saying the minimum. I'm saying the minimum that he will leave now. What I'm saying is, if he was to leave, it'll be 40 million. Like, it'll be something better than 40 million, minimum £40 million. And we're going for £8 million. So, we made crazy profit off him already. Like, even worst case scenario, we're making crazy profit off him. Whereas he should be worth more than that. But saying that, he needs to get, some goals and assists.
I feel like we bumped Reading. I feel like we bumped him. We bumped Reading. I don't even know how we pulled that off.
That was his release clause.
Yeah, this is it. This is the game.
Yeah.
For those football manager guys out there, learn your lessons. It happens.
Exactly. Find your Olise. And let us know where you find them from. But yeah, we found Olise. It was a football manager, and now we're laughing. But yeah, I think teams will be after him. I don't know when, but potentially this summer. It depends on how he ends the season, because that game was on TV, and trust me, a lot of people talking about Olise. It's not only just us. But let's wrap it up with a score prediction now. Start off with you, Stan. Look, you've been a bit 50-50. You're like, it's going to be a difficult game, but we can win it. We can, How do you see it going then?
I'm erring on the side of caution. I'm going 1-1.
1-1. All right, cool. AJ?
It's going to be 3-1. But I feel like we're going to follow the same pattern and Southampton are going to score first.
You reckon? I'm going to go for 1-0. I think this is a game we get a clean sheet. I do think that. Saying that, it's going to be funny if we now concede 4. But there's no way that happens.
No, I was so angry.
I think, I'll say it with chest. I think this is a game where we can get a clean sheet. But I don't think we're going to score like 4 or 5 goals. They might be a bit hard to break down, even though I expect them to come and attack us. So I'm going to go for 1-0 Palace. I think 1-0 Palace, I'll be happy with that clean sheet away from home. Another win. And just keep the momentum going and keep racking up these points. Let's try to see how high up the table we can finish. But let us know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching. As always, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Thank you to Stan and AJ also for joining me. And until next time, up the Palace.